CNN.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Nick Charles with Fred Hickman. A sad day in sports. Fred, we all knew Magic Johnson's career had to end someday, just not this way.
Not this way and not right now. We certainly didn't, Nick. The story started out really as a small tremor this afternoon, but within minutes it had exploded all across the country. Irvin Magic Johnson, the Hall of Fame-bound L.A. Lakers guard and one of the greatest players in the game's history, has retired. He has retired because he has tested HIV positive. CNN's Michael Kalman has more on this story, which tonight seems to be too utterly fantastic to be true.
For the past dozen years, Irvin Magic Johnson has been the heart and soul of the L.A. Lakers. On Thursday, he delivered some heartbreaking news to basketball fans around the world.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
Johnson had missed the first 3 Lakers games this season with what were being called flu symptoms. On Monday, he was given the go-ahead to return to practice, but complained of dehydration and loss of stamina. On Wednesday, he says he got word of the positive HIV test results.
Irvin Johnson has been infected with the HIV virus. He does not have AIDS. The HIV virus is something that over years can and does impair an individual's immune system, which is what we all have to defend against other illnesses. So there's no immediate effect on his life other than we have advised him to avoid those activities which can further impair his immune system, which is playing professional basketball.
For the kids, that's why I am going to be a spokesman for this HIV virus, because I want them to understand that safe sex is the way to go. I think sometimes we think, well, only gay people can get it, only well, it's not going to happen to me, and here I am saying that it can happen to anybody.
Johnson is facing his new challenge with the same sort of determination he showed throughout his career. He's all ready to push ahead with the same positive attitude.
You know, what you have to do is just, it's another challenge, another chapter in my life that it's like being, your back is against the wall. And I think that you just have to come out swinging, and I'm swinging. You know, only thing I can do is have a bright side. If I slip, then it might be over. If I'm down, if it's out, you know, I can't be like that. I never have been. That's why I'm telling you now.
The shocking loss of Irvin Johnson will be felt first and foremost here at the Great Western Forum, the home of the Lakers. The Magic's absence will in many ways change the NBA to a degree, because on the court he was so much more than just a basketball player.
Really, I think what this means to the NBA is that another one of our really idols and attention getters has indicated that he's human. Something has happened to him which can happen to anybody.
The tears have rolled and all that, and the sympathy that we poured out to each other, that's going to always be there. And I'm just looking now for him to be on the sideline with me. You know, we can do what we can from the sideline to help the Laker franchise keep rolling.
Now you just have me on a different side now. You may be interviewing me in like Dr. Buss's office, so as soon as he move out, I'm going to move in. But I am going to go on, I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to have fun.
In Los Angeles, I'm Michael Kalman, CNN Sports.
The spillover throughout the NBA has been total and enormous. This distressing news has evoked reaction from players, coaches, and officials who consider Magic Johnson everything from a colleague to a friend to a loved one to an icon. His former coach, Pat Riley, now with the Knicks, led his team in prayer before tonight's game in New York, with all who were part of it swept up in a gamut of emotions from shock to sorrow and to hope.
I think it's very important for us right now at this time, in your own voice, in your own beliefs, in any way you desire, to take a moment of silence, not in any other form other than to give our love and our support and our prayers for Irvin, for his family, and for the 1 million people who are afflicted with an insidious disease. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us our daily bread.
So that it's tough. It's a tough fight. And if there's anybody who's ever been any tougher than him, you're going to find out exactly what he's about in this whole situation.
It says a lot about him to come out and fight it. He's a true warrior and a competitor, and our prayers are with him, and I'm sure he'll overcome. If anybody can, he will.
Obviously, it's devastating for us from a personnel standpoint, and I think particularly emotionally for a lot of us. It's a very difficult thing.
I know what people with AIDS go through. It's not a very pleasant life. The discrimination and bigotry and fear that surrounds this disease is always something that puts an extra burden on it. So I hope Irvin is able to cope with that. And as I said, if he needs my help, I'll be there.
I got his jerseys and Larry Bird's jerseys and Michael's jerseys. So those three guys I respect a great deal. And it's kind of like, I know he's not dead, but it's kind of like somewhat of a death of a brother, a death in a family.
It just goes to show you that God don't make any distinction who you are or what you do for a living. And it goes to show you also that athletes are not higher than people think they are.
You know, I try and look at it from a positive side, too. I mean, if God was going to pick a spokesman, he couldn't have found someone better.
And I hope that he doesn't have to be a martyr for everybody to benefit, but I think it'll open up a lot of eyes and let people know that, hey, this is serious and it can happen to anybody.
Your heart really goes out to him and his family and his new wife and everything, and you just pray that everything works out for him the best that it can. This is not a situation where there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel type thing.
It doesn't matter how rich, how poor, how famous, it could strike anyone. And it's just a shame, and we're devastated.
Michael Jordan of the Bulls was quoted by WMAQ-TV in Chicago as having this reaction when he first heard the news. Magic Johnson said he called Jordan himself, along with Isaiah Thomas, two good friends, both of whom will speak on the situation tomorrow. Fred?
Larry Bird of the Boston Celtics, who broke in, of course, the same year in the NBA that Magic Johnson did today, walked off the floor after practice without saying a word to anybody. So it's taken everybody by
the league will never be the same.
No, it will not. Much more to this story, the response of the most important Magic fans of them all, the youngsters. Also Johnson's great playing career and HIV positive versus AIDS. What, if anything, is the difference? CNN Sports Tonight will continue.
We're sorry, all Hotel Message Center personnel are busy. Please hold. Please hold.
Once again, BMW takes the luxury sedan where it's never been before. The 750iL with ASC plus T, automatic stability control plus traction. Every second, computers monitor wheel slippage and apply up to 100 engine and brake adjustments, helping keep the driver in control, proving the difference between an ordinary sedan and the ultimate driving machine.
More on the Magic Johnson story now. There is a group of very special fans that this news affects. It is the group which hangs up the posters of their superheroes on the bedroom walls and fall asleep nights, dreaming of running or jumping or dunking in their shoes someday. These are the youngsters.
It can be argued that Magic Johnson, along with Larry Bird, was a key to rescuing a league drowning in red ink. The NBA wouldn't be the thundering success it is today without Johnson's contributions. As a result, Magic became a role model for youngsters, almost from the day he put on the Lakers colors. You go to any inner-city playground and you will find kids trying to follow in Magic's footsteps.
I got his t-shirt and everything, but when I find out he got AIDS, I guess I ain't gonna be wearing that shirt no more.
No, please, don't blame him for what he says. The kid, as are many kids and many adults, is simply scared.
It can happen. I mean, it can happen to anybody. It happen to a superstar. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Lynn, let's go 20 on,
I don't believe it, though.
It
probably
It made me feel sad for him to come. Well, he might die. And it might not be another Magic Johnson.
1 million people have tested HIV positive in this country to date. Many of those will die from AIDS-related disorders. But Irvin Johnson is clearly one of the most recognizable public figures to contract this terrible virus.
I'm going to miss playing, and I will now become a spokesman for the HIV virus because I want people and young people to realize that they can practice safe sex. And, you know, sometimes you're a little naive about it and you think it could never happen to you. You only thought it could happen to, you know, other people and so on and on. And it has happened, but I'm going to deal with it and my life will go on.
Another one of our really idols and attention getters has indicated that he's human. Something has happened to him which can happen to anybody. Everybody is at risk. And by invoking the NBA and his teammates and all players to deliver the messages that Magic is intent on delivering, I think that we can find something positive out of a very terrible situation.
So maybe Irvin Johnson can do some real magic here. Perhaps by using his station in society, he can put a light on this malady. After all, the old folks will tell you that you can't truly be afraid of anything you truly understand.
I like to see Magic play, you know. It's still just one thing happened. I'm sorry that it happened to him.
He could have been seen with needles.
He was still number one, though.
Well, the numbing news, of course, is Magic Johnson's possibly life-threatening state of health. But we see how this man swept across the lines of sport and made the quantum leap into the public consciousness. The smaller shock, but still stunning news, is that he'll probably never play again. CNN's Jim Huber has a retrospective of a glowing career that suddenly flamed out.
If there was ever the perfect nickname for an athlete like Irvin Johnson, it was Magic, for he was that and just so much more. From his days in the 70s as an undergraduate at Michigan State, where he led the Spartans to the national championship, to just a month ago when he stunned Paris in an exhibition game with the Lakers, he produced from up an imaginary sleeve absolute brilliance. And because of that, he had an immediate impact on the NBA. He and Larry Bird came into the league on the very same day in 1979 and are generally credited with being the architects of the NBA's great rebirth. For openers, that a man 6'9" could play point guard was unthinkable. And play it with the kind of zest that Magic Johnson nightly displayed took that a step farther into incredulity. With that dazzling smile of his, he would cut down the lane, put opponents on their seats, and pull fans off theirs. And from opening day a dozen years ago, basketball was never again to be the same. His Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA championship his rookie year, and they won 4 more in the decade to follow. He was the league's most valuable player in 1987, 89, and 90, All-NBA every season from 83 on, the all-time NBA assist leader. Irvin Johnson, NCAA champion, 5-time NBA champion, but just magic.
Well, the first question on all of our minds is one those million people I mentioned and their loved ones have been asking all along. If testing HIV positive doesn't mean AIDS, then what exactly does it mean? Dan Retz of our medical unit offers this explanation.
Magic Johnson joins an estimated 1 million other U.S. residents who carry the so-called AIDS virus but are not actually sick with the disease. Most, according to health experts, don't even know they're infected. While most scientists say HIV